How do I build my communication skills? Student, I struggle to communicate my ideas, my thoughts. I get nervous. I feel anxious. What I can do improve my verbal communication? Teacher, first understand that our ability to communicate verbally is a direct reflection of our ability to structure our thoughts clearly, and that begins by writing. Student is shocked. Writing? Oh, please. I'm not a writer, nor am I interested in becoming one. It is the last thing I would do. Teacher, hear me out. Writing is the slowest form of expression that we have as a humans. We think fast. A lot of us tend to speak fast as well. Writing can never match that speed, which is actually the reason why writing is so effective. When we write, we are training our brain to select the most important thoughts out of all that is inside it. That process trains us to control the pace of our thoughts, structure those thoughts, and refine them. So, when we write, we essentially tell our brain, this thought is the most important. Let me write it down. Student, oh, I see. That makes sense. Is there a minimum amount I need to write? When should I write? What should I write about? Teacher, write every day. Start with a page. You don't have to go beyond that in the beginning. Write about anything at all. The only thing is to draw a conclusion. Every time you have written something, end with a sentence. This tells me that the conclusion brings it all together. Writing daily is not just for writer. It is for communicator who wish to express themselves better. Student, how so? Teacher, it ties your thoughts together to begin with. When you start writing, your thoughts will be all over the place, and if you end with just that, it will not help you infer a point. This ending sentence trains you to move towards a conclusion. Imagine the same process translating into your verbal communication. You speak towards a conclusion. That is what you want eventually, isn't it? Student, precisely. But it cannot be just that. Writing alone can't make me a good communicator. Teacher, it is a necessary steps but not the only steps. The next step after writing will be to practice speaking. With writing, your thoughts get structured, but they still lack the emotions that your voice can generate. So, I advise my student to record a video of them speaking for a minute for 90 days straight. Play back the video. Make a list of all the moments where you erred. Think of you can do better. And then come back the next day to work on the errors. Student, awesome. That sounds like a task, but I like that it is just a minute a day. Does this really help? Teacher, anything you do consistently will help. I had a student who took this advice to heart and recorded 365 videos every day for a year. You would not recognize the person in the 365th video from the first one. Just 1 year. In a life of several decades, just 1 year can change your life. That is the beauty of practice. Student, I would love to be her in a daytime. Teacher, you would but cannot do so. Not in a day. As you practice, I also want you to observe the speakers you like the most. Watch their videos, pick up their style, make a note of all the things that you find appealing about them. Imbibe them, and as you do so, ask yourself, how can I bring their emotion into what I say? Student, no shame in copying, huh? I like that. I also see a lot of effective communicator projecting a sense of confidence that is not verbal. They do not sit with closed arms. They rarely play with their hairs or hands. They do not shake their legs. Do these things matter? Teacher, of course. When people close their arms, it tells us they do not want to listen and are married only to their own opinion. Shaking your legs is an expression of nervous energy. What we don't speak speaks louder than what we do. Did you know that body language consists of 55% non-verbal communication, totally consists of 38%, and words only 7%? Student, wow, that is why the same thing said by different people has a different impact on us. Teacher, true, and it's even more important in today's world because a lot of our communication happens over electronic media. We cannot always see each other body language. Thus, the choice of our words and how we weave them together becomes so much more important. The only way to get better as it is to read. The more you read, the more you help your mind from the right structure, use the correct sentence, and articulate better. Student, so writing and reading both are important for effective verbal communication. That already sounds like a lot of work. Teacher, oh, you haven't even reached the hardest part. Student, wait, sorry to cut you. I was not listening. Where do I learn the skills of body language from? Teacher, the hardest part of communication is listening. Student, sorry, what? Teacher, the hardest part of communication is listening. Something that you are not doing right now, understanding so. Because it is hard, we often listen with the intent to reply, not to understand, and that makes us impatient communicator. Have you ever been in a conversation where you said something important only to hear completely unrelated answer that set you wondering if they were listening? Students, so many times. Teacher, you know why? Student, I realize being an effective communicator is not so much about speaking English fluently or acting confident. It is simply about understanding the emotions of the person you are communicating with. What we think will help us improve our communication skill. What command over the language. But what actually help is writing, practicing, copying from the best, and listening. Teacher, you are so right. Of course, please do not dismiss the power of knowledge, the power of preparation, the power of practice. All these are critical to any delivery, verbal or written. But despite all that, many falter because they never care to understand the person they are communicating with. Student, thank you. This gives me a lot of direction. And I wanted to apologize for cutting you in between your sentence because I was not listening. I will be mindful of this from now on. Teacher, smiling, the teacher has appeared. This lesson is taken from the book Get Epic Shit Done by Ankur Warikoo. In next video, we will hear about how do I build a growth mindset. Thank you so much for listening.